Happy New Year. Welcome back to March's Planning Mess. And we're going to talk about my 2026 lineup. Now, these are the books that are dedicated 100% to 2026. They're not carrying over from another year or potentially moving into the next year. I do have some of those as well. We will not address those in this video. Okay, so there's 4 of them here, and let's just start with my health and fitness planner. So actually it's not much of health. This is fitness and fitness only. I'm using a Hobonichi Weeks. I love this size. I love that it's hardbound, but yet also thin. So it holds up really well in my gym bag without getting smushed or cracked or messed up in any way. And I used it last year and I'm carrying things over, but my layout is totally different than last year. So just for reference, I will show you what I had last year in the weekly section and how things are different. But let's look at this first, and then I'll show you how it was last year. So I just love this cover. Okay, this section I'm not using at all. I really haven't found anything that like this would be good for. If I do, I'll use it. Okay, for this section, last year I used this to track steps. This year I'm using it to graph my weight. So I got myself for Christmas a scale that's syncing with my phone, which is nice. My other scale did not do that. And so basically I've got weights on the side, and then I'm showing you like how they're tracking here. And I'm going to stay within the same range. It's pretty large, so I can see where I'm going throughout the year. Up here, I've got a place for each week, and I can put an average there of what the weekly weight is. So it's a good visual to just see where I'm at. Got a starting and ending weight. We'll see how that goes for this year. Weight loss is not a huge goal for me. I mean, it is. I would like to lose 20 pounds, but I don't know that that's going to happen. I've got some gut issues going on, and so I'm just focusing on being consistent with my exercise routine and eating as well as I can, depending on if I'm on a weird diet to rule out gut stuff. But I'm doing this, I'm spending this year tracking whether we make any major change or not. That's not the goal. The goal is to just kind of be consistent and then go from there. So that's what this section is for. You can see I kind of divided up each week in a block. Visually, that just helps me a little bit more than these lines do. Okay, this is a major change. So last year, my monthly section, I used to track my workouts. So here's an example. This is how much I walked. Well, I'm not doing weight there towards the end. Let's see. Like here's an example. How much I walked would be down here. If I did any kind of strength training, I was doing my weight, my measurements here, and then like the total miles I walked. So this week I walked 18 miles, this one 15, 17.26, whatever. And that worked pretty well, but I kind of wanted to put that information somewhere else this year. So I didn't have a good use this year for a monthly spread. And so I just bit the bullet and whited it out. And so this is my section for keeping track of sleep and energy level. So there's my charts. Every single one of these lines is a day. That's how many hours. So like 2, 4, 6. So that was a little over 6 hours. This one's over 8 hours. You can see daily. And then at the end here, I've got, this is week 48 or 49, 50, 51, and 52 averages of the length I slept. And then this is my year-to-date average, which is for this is just a month because that's when I started tracking it like this. But moving into January and February and going forward, it will be a year-to-date average rather than a monthly average, mostly because I don't need a monthly average. It's more, I look at things more by the week than I do by the month. And so, most months have more than 4 weeks. It's like 4 weeks and 2 days or 3 days. And so it's just more consistent for me to keep up with it like that. But I am tracking everything in the month here. So call me cuckoo, but that's just how it is. So here's the log, and you can see it divided up. I've got 8 p.m., 10 p.m., 12 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m. I'm generally not going to go to bed before 8 or wake up after 8, but if I did, I would just kind of go up or down outside of this graph to show that. But you can see I'm just graphing where it is. And what I wish I had done this month, and I could go back and do it too, is highlight everything from midnight and above, because your best sleep is during those hours. And just to kind of get a look at that, I did do that moving forward. You'll see that when I get to the next spread. Okay, this is my sleep score. This is all December. So I tracked in both my old planner and this planner just to get a feel for how this is working. Okay, so this is a sleep score. You can see where that went all over the place, and then averages, of course, here at the end. And this is an energy score. All this information I'm getting from my watch. So it's something I could sit down and do in an afternoon for the whole month. I don't have to stay on top of this every day. It's too hard for me. Pardon me, I'm getting a frog in my throat. Too hard for me to keep up with all this stuff at the same time, which is, I think, why my daily tracking, habit tracking always tends to fail. But let's look at January, because we just have a little bit there. See how I highlighted everything from midnight forward. And then I also drew a line. 10 o'clock is when I would like to be in bed. You can see I'm not quite making that, but that was also vacation. So, whoa, sorry. Not trying to make you sick. Anyway, it helps for me to see this visually, because then I can stay on top of it or be more intentional about it. So I've got everything finished out for this whole year. And then you can see this is what it would have looked like had I not highlighted it. I'm not going to do January, February. I think they go to March. I will do nothing with these spreads, but they give them to you. You know, if you're planning, it helps for doctor's appointments or whatever to have a couple months ahead. So that's why those are there. But I really have no use for them. I might cut them out and tape it together, or I might find a use for these pages for something. And so it may, I may just use them for something else. So they're just sitting there right now. Okay, this is how I'm using this section. So when you get a Hobonichi Weeks, they give you December of the previous year, which I really love. You don't have to use it, but it's there, especially if you're thinking about a new layout, but you're still finishing up your old planner. It's a chance to double plan and just get an idea. Do I like this new layout before you're like committed? Okay, January 1st, it's do or die. So I started off with this one, trying to figure out how I wanted to use the space. So I divided into 3 columns. This column is my strength training column. This is my cardio column, and this is my rings column. And you can see, like, I am an artist and I'm struggling to draw concentric heart shapes. It looks like they were done by first graders. Okay, this I was going to track meds and vitamins. This one I was going to track water. And then this is where I'm at on the Appalachian Trail, which is something I did in my previous planner. I got almost halfway through the Appalachian Trail, applying all the daily steps I took as if I were walking those on the trail each day. So this is just kind of mirroring what I have in my old planner, but in a completely different format. So I didn't do anything. I kind of was deciding on these columns in this first week, so there's nothing here. But you can see here's my next week. So I actually bought myself this adorable little stencil. It had a lot of other hearts on it in different sizes, but I'm using not this biggest one, but this is my biggest heart. This is my second and my third. And so then I can just trace them. I think I was actually trying a bigger one in this one. But anyway, it looks so much better like this than these poor pitiful things. But anyway, I trimmed this stencil down to what I was actually going to use, and it fits so nicely in this little pocket, so it's always with me, and I can grab it out when it's time to fill this part in. So you can see I'm tracking again cardio here, strength training here, concentric hearts there. This is my vitamins and my medicines, and I did a pretty good job this week, but I'm struggling with this. I may have to rethink what I'm putting in this column and maybe put that somewhere else. I don't know. I'm just struggling to remember, but I do have a pretty good system of making sure that I take them every day. So I don't know. I have a hard time remembering to do things like self-care and medications regularly. And so it may be one of those things that rather than track it here, I just use a reminder on my phone. But anyway, but I love, and I've continued to do this. I just decided it's so hard. Like, I've always given myself like this goal of 8 cups of water a day. And so like 8 little squares to fill in. But here's the thing. A lot of times your drinks don't come in cup size. Like, it's not 8 ounces, and it might not be a multiple of that. And so what I've decided to do was just, so if you can see this, like at the top here, I've got a large teacup that I use every day. first thing in the morning. It's like 12 ounces. And so I'll put that in. And when I write a number in there, it means I actually completed it. So that was a 32 ounce bottle. That was my second one for the day. I only got halfway. And then I also had like a sparkling water. So this is water or tea or some sort of flavored water. I don't tend to count anything else. And so, of course, I'm trying to get my 64 plus ounces a day. So I've got some, like these water bottles here. These are smaller size. And so they're 26 ounces. So I did both of those plus that, and that gave me 64. So anyway, I have just I'm just kind of drawing them out so I can visually see it. So when I start the water bottle in the day, I will draw it there without the number in it. And then at the end of the day, I will check it. Did I empty it? Okay, then I can put that number in. If I didn't empty it completely, then I kind of estimate, I did half of it. Okay, half of that would be this number, or a third of it, or whatever. So that's how I'm calculating that. And I just love how that looks. It's really fun. Still got my Appalachian Trail there. Okay, I started putting highlighter in so I didn't have to draw these boxes in. And then a place to put stuff. And also highlighter here, so that made this easier. It's hard for me when I pick a layout that requires a lot of drawing and filling in, because then it's easy to feel like overwhelming, especially compared to what I had last year. Last year in this section, let's see if I can find one that I do. Okay, I'm drawing out the macros, I'm drawing out all of these charts, but I have to draw this layout on this blank piece of grid paper every week and draw this out every week, and it just would get overwhelming and I would just quit. And so that's why a section of this, I actually went through and like screenshot everything from my phone and just basically glued it in here, because I couldn't deal with like 3+ months of information. So I have struggled to keep this up, and because it's also something I track in my FitnessPal, although my FitnessPal does not do great graphs like this, I have struggled about that moving forward. And you will see my food stuff in a different planner. I'm not putting it here because this would be the logical place to put it. I wanted to put other stuff here. So this planner is just basically for my gym stuff. So there's nothing that's changed too much about this. You can see, there's just some days where I forget to do it at all. So, although I've been pretty consistent. I have no idea what I drank yesterday. So that's where that's at. And these are my 2 water bottles that I'm working on today. Have not finished either of them. So moving forward, that's going to stay the same. In the back, I've got all kinds of charts and things. I have not filled any of this out, and I have gone over it in another video. Although I did fill this out when I went to the gym. Oh, it looks like I scooted that over. And I didn't get to go Sunday, so I did not get this workout done for this week. But that's okay. We're all a work in progress. I may white that out just so that I have my spot for week 2. And I don't want to draw all this chart stuff out. It's too much work. And visually, I can kind of figure out where it is because it is graph paper. So I'm letting that be. Here's a place for progress photos. I have not done one for week 1. Today I will try and do my week 2 and get those glued in. And then I've got this, a place to calculate my daily burn. I also have a spreadsheet, so this may be useless, but anyway, I needed a place to put it, so I have the space, so I put it in here. We'll see. I may just use a spreadsheet, and this may have been a waste. All right, I'm tracking water in this section, so I have to fill this in. I did not put December, so a lot of what you saw was December, because we're only on the 5th of January. But I can go through and I can track how many ounces, because my goal appears, 64. So that will be interesting to see how that goes through the year. And then I think I have, these are like weekly and quarterly averages. Yeah, because there's where December ends. So that's everything I have here. I still have some more pages. I might come up with more things I want to track. If I do, I've got a place to put it. If not, those pages can remain empty. It's not a big deal. In the back, I want to highlight as I go through and calculate the days that I hit my burn. And I divided this down the middle because I wanted to like I was saying earlier, I think about things better in weeks. So I didn't want to be like, oh, I got 26 for the whole year. I want to see where they land. So this is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. So it'll be easy to like figure out where I'm at and highlight it was a Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. So that's how I'm going to use that when I get my burn page figured out. Again, these are not things I have to do every day. I can sit down and just take an hour or two and fill it in and get a month's worth of information in there. That's kind of how I do this kind of stuff best, because I can't, my life, some days I have time to be in my planner and other days I don't. And if I miss it and I need to do it every day and I don't have the information unless I do it that day, it's sad because it falls behind. So anyway, we're done with this one. Okay, that's Hobonichi Weeks. All right, Sterling Ink N2 Vertical Common Planner Compact. Okay, this is about the same size, just as a comparison. You can see that this is slightly thinner, so this is a little thicker. And you can see, if I turn it on the side, see how there's a lip where this, I'm not talking about the plastic, I'm talking about the cover where the pages are. This does not have that lip. So these pages are the same size as the cover, but not as the pages. So you get slightly more room in your Sterling ink than you would in your Hobonichi Weeks. The Hobonichi Weeks is got a harder cover, like a hard cardboard cover. This has a soft cardboard cover. Mine is a little stiffer because number 1, it's in a clear case, and number 2, I've put these calendar cards in the front and the back, so it's given it a bit more stability. I don't like how soft they are. That's probably my only major complaint about Sterling Ink Common Planner. I would love it to have this kind of a cover, and I love that these are decorated so cute. But anyway, this is the only planner that I've found in this size that's vertical. So this is kind of a unicorn planner. Not a lot of people like it because it's very narrow columns, but I use a very teeny tiny pen. This is my pen for in here. It is the Energel Pentel liquid ink, and it's in 0.3. Yeah. And it writes, very, very thin. So it works well in this. That's writing in something small like this. All right. So in the front, we've got a house cleaning chart. We're going to see if I can keep up with this. Who knows? Probably not. But it was fun to put it in there and just have the desire and thought that I would follow through with it. Okay, this is my word for the year, perseverance. My one last year was consistency, and I really feel like I was able to do that. So we'll see how I do with perseverance. Okay, in this section, this is just a blank page, and so I divided it up. I'm going to put my favorite photo from every month in here. Here's my goals. I feel like in the future, I'm going to move my goals all on this side and maybe do something different over here because, let's just face it, I just want to consistently keep up with these things, and they're very similar to what I did last year and with a few tweaks, and so I don't need to like at 1 year or half year. This would work better for maybe a business plan, but I don't have this is my life. I'm not a business. Okay, books read. Instead of using this for the weather, like I did before, I'm going to mark daily cleaning because I didn't have a place to do that here. This was like for weekly, so I could fit 52, but I could not fit 365 little boxes here. And I didn't have that, the chart that you have in the Hobonichi. So it was like, this is where it's going to go, right in here, because the only other thing I'm tracking is the books that I'm reading. So you can see down here, I'll pull it up closer. I'll do a little circle for daily cleaning and that for the duration of the book read. So that's my plan for using this space in this book. Okay. I'm doing symptom trackers. I have not really filled anything in here. I'm going to use that on this side because I make myself a little calendar. This side, I filled in all these numbers. I don't know if you can see the stickers well, but this comes from, if you buy a Sterling Ink stickers that for redating, these are the ones that would go in your monthly section, and the ones for the daily are a little bit bigger. And I use the daily ones through the top of here because I had to redate it because I'm using 2 pages at or 2 spreads at a time. So obviously I'm going to go faster than what the information is. So I just put those here as a way to like give myself again that visual calendar. We're starting on Thursday. So I'm in here, I'm writing down birthdays, and I'm writing down any kind of major, or any doctor's appointments I have. Like tomorrow I have I put it on the 4th. It's actually on the 6th. I have a mammogram tomorrow. And, so then I'll know when I go back to look, this is where to find it. Here's where I'm like, my kids are seeing the dentist and I'm seeing the dermatologist. And it's just good for me to see in a yearly spread how everything like that is happening. So that's how I've chosen to use these pages, because I know habit tracking is just not going to happen. So there's that. And like this is showing from last year, when I went to have my yearly visit. So that was at like the 10th of November. So when it gets closer to this time, you don't make it like a year and ahead appointment. You do it several weeks ahead. So then it gives me an idea. Okay, I need to go ahead and schedule in early November. So there's that. Okay, monthly section. This is December. Now I did get the sticker kit for this. You don't get one per size. You just get it. And so this little strip was just slightly wider than this space, but I put it in where I wanted it and just trimmed off the edge. So that gives me this beautiful and a little bit stiffer thing for December. So this was last December. And here's January. That's the one that came for January. And the date there. And this is this month. Here's my mood tracker. I need to fill out a couple days that I've missed. But that's where that's going to go. And I've got everything in basically till June. I did buy these stickers from Amazon and they're fine, but they're kind of thick and rough. And so I did make myself some that I'm going to print out on washi paper, and I will just replace all of these. They come up really easy so that it won't be as lumpy. That's my only issue with normal stickers, is they tend to make it bumpy. Okay, so the rest of the year, I'm on an academic calendar, so there's a few things other than doctor's appointments that are in here. Once the next school year starts, then I'll have more things to fill in. Okay, here's how my week looked like last week, and I put in all the things that I did, put in my health data down here. These little orange lines are where I was sleeping, and that is similar to what I'm tracking here, but this is showing me a month at a time. This is only showing me a week at a time, and this is just more of an overview. Here's my brain dump section. I had set this up to be a little different than I ended up using it as. So this section, normally I would have this on this side, but that's okay. It fits over here. So that's my to-do list, and the things that didn't get done got moved over to the next week. This is this week. My schedule, I will fill these things in as they go. Weather. And then here's my running to-do list and a place for a brain dump. Another nice thing for this brain dump area is if I make myself notes on sticky notes, I can slap them in here, and they're here until I discard them. So that's what that is for. These are interesting. I've made these sticky notes as a way to track things like I want to clean my ice maker like every month. And so I did these dates, or this date. I know that one's there because that's when I cleaned it. Or maybe that's when I bought it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it in December, but I did not. So by the 16th, I need to have cleaned it. It gives me a place to check it off and to see it in context of all the other things rather than just randomly putting it on here. Like, see, I put it on here. That's my December 16 one that keeps getting rolled over. I need to see this to really be like, get it done. Okay. So that's everything continues like that. I did put these little tabs in here. They come off and can be repositioned if you need to. Okay, so that's all of the 52 weeks that they give you. It goes all the way till the end of June because I'm using 2 at a time. So week 26 is where this ends, and I will have another planner for the second half of the year. I did buy a Sterling Ink N2 horizontal that is undated. because I figure if I'm going to have to redate everything, it's better to get it undated instead of whiting things out, because that adds an extra layer of bulk. It is horizontal, so I may rotate it and do it this way. I don't know. We'll see. I may get another one of these and just redate it the way I redated this one, because that's how it's going to be. But the other thing is, so I have all 12 months here, 13 even. But in the next planner, if I bought one of these that already had the dates in it, I wouldn't need January to June because that part of the year would be done. So I would definitely white out all of the months and start July, August, and just go like that. So I had, the 6 months of the planner plus 6 months in the future for future planning, doctor's appointments, etc. So having one that's undated will help with that. We'll see how I use it. I really wanted, also I ordered, but they had run out without realizing it. There was a glitch in their system. I ordered just an N2 blank book, and obviously I didn't get it. So, but that one I was thinking of just doing my own layouts and not really like bullet journal as far as like doing things that are uniquely creative, but just bullet journal as in I'm drawing out my own spreads every month. And I was toying with doing that so I could have more of a complete planner layout, because I really liked that little bit I experimented with during the month of November. So we'll see. We'll see what I do with that undated planner. Everything is in very lightly printed. It's printed lighter than this year. Last year, so it's printed at a lighter font color. So it's easier to move things around because things aren't as dark and bold. So the undated is from not a current year. So it is lighter than this one looks. Okay, let's get down to business. Okay, so the end of the weekly section, I had this empty spread. They gave you, the first week of January for 2027. Obviously, I didn't need that, so I whited it out, and I gave myself a place to do a temperature chart. And so I will graph the highs and the lows. I did this at the end of last year, and I really liked how it turned out. The only difference is I might add in a weather symbol. We'll see. That could go by the wayside as well. But I just have 6 months of that because I'm just going to be using this things for 6 months. Where in my other planner I had it for a whole year. But I actually back planned that because I like the way that looks better than my highlighted chart from last year. Okay, here we go. This is the beginning of the blank section. So I did like a January spread. I had already put this down thinking I was going to start my journal here, but I decided I wanted to do kind of goals for January. So I gave myself some different goals of things I wanted to do in January and a place to like revisit that, what worked, what didn't, a media log, what kind of things am I watching, listening to, etc. And a place to either continue that list or to write miscellaneous things. This is part of the sticker kit that I have. It's a vellum, and I just trimmed it down to size and gave it a tab so I can find January stuff. And I'll do that when the February kit comes and get that ready to put in. It's just glued in. I may put something here, I may not, but here's where I'm starting my journal. So I got this started. I obviously need to do some stuff because I just have January 1st in here and I'm not sure I'm even done. No, in fact, I hardly wrote anything about it, but I give myself as much room to write. Sometimes I divide it in half and just write in very narrow columns. We'll see how this year goes. It's flexible. There's nothing else really in here because I want to keep this mainly for journaling. And I don't know when things will stop and start because I give myself as much or as little room as I need per day. So anyway, that is where we're at with the everyday carry. All right. Next, these will go a little bit faster. This one is a Sterling Ink horizontal N2. Oop, we're upside down. And this is for keeping track of finances. So I love this. This is a Hobonichi Weeks cover, and I love all the pockets. I love how slim it is. I love that it's this nylon. I've got cash in here. And I could put cards. In fact, I thought about just making this my wallet, but it honestly, the cards bulked it up so much that I didn't like it. So I changed my mind and took them out. But this is what it looks like empty. So this is the N2 Horizontal 2026 Common Planner, and this is also a compact. Okay. This is just, I'm dividing it up so I can see where my husband's check, which is the main income source, comes once a month on the 15th. So I'm just kind of dividing these months up so I know where the money is coming and what weeks to include in the money that we have. This section's empty. This section's empty. This section's empty. I have no use for these things. I mean, I may go back and figure out some way to put financial goals in there. I don't know. It's not really how I use a planner. I don't really have a use for this page. I was thinking about maybe like the total spent every day, but I do that in a different section. I feel like it would be redundant. So this may just be blank. It's okay. All right, here's how I'm using it. Week 1. So here's Monday. I divided this in 8 columns. So there was only one purchase that day. I went and bought stamps at USPS. So that was my stamp purchase. And if I had more, they would have gone in these. This is the total I spent the day. This is now my balance. Venmo, I sent out a donation with Venmo. So there it is. That's where my balance is. And all the things. So now I can see my goal is to not spend more than $500 a week. We'll see if I make that goal or not. I need to enter the stuff from Sunday because I did this before I went out shopping for groceries. So that will impact this for sure. And then next week, all I have to do is just draw the columns in. And that's how this section is going to go. This is the main account that I use for gas, groceries, eating out, etc. Then I have 4 more accounts that I keep track of. This is the little paper that goes with it of all the automatic stuff that comes out of there. And this is kind of how I'm doing, like, that's the balance. These are the things that came in basically on a day or a group of days. And then just kind of my running total. Okay, this is an account that pays the kids' school. So that one, nothing had happened yet. But as it does, I will put it in. This one is my work account. And then this one is the joint account. There's hardly just these automatic things that come in and out of there, and I can't figure out how to change them to the other account, so it's still open, and I just put money in there to cover it. And so that one, again, I'm tracking all this just to kind of keep an eye on it. If someone were to do fraud, I would be able to pick up on it because I'm looking at it every month. But it doesn't take much time. I've got a lot of pages that are empty in the back that may never get used, and that's okay. If this gets to be too bulky, I can always just take this out like this and throw it in my bag. So that's kind of how I'm using this one. All right, next, this is my last planner. And this one, so I toyed with the idea this is an N1 or a traveler's notebook size. And I had toyed with maybe potentially using this stuff for the second half of the year. Because remember, my other one only goes for half a year. So I'd ordered some stuff. And I had this. This is the Horizontal Weekly. I ordered a set of Horizontal Weeklies. And they came in 2 separate books, 6 months each. And I was like, well, this I'm not going to use because I have an everyday carry already. And then I had seen a video of somebody using this for their food planning, meal planning. And I was like, that would work for me so well. So that is what I've done with this book. And I will probably use the second half to finish out the year. But if not, I could always order one just for the second half of the year. But I did the last week of December because there were some blank spots in here. Trying to keep track of how much I'm spending on food. And so I'm going to log all of my weekly spending, and I will cross-reference this with the financial planner back here so I can get an idea of what I'm spending on food each month. And then this is just an area to brainstorm. I like to have a soup and a salad each week that are unique. Meals I have in the freezer. Right now I'm doing gluten-free, so I'm just trying to survive it. And I had to do dairy-free earlier, so this is this is what it is. But I've kind of changed up the layout a little bit each week until I find what I like. This week, so this column is basically, is there anything unique happening on this day to be aware of? So this is like a potluck day. This is a day we have a youth thing in the evening, and so we usually eat out. But anyway, I didn't like the fact that I had breakfast, lunch, and supper being like shoved over. So next week, I just shortened this column to there. I still am marking, yes, this is all gluten-free. If there's anything I can fill in there. Breakfast, my breakfast, I have like 3 that I rotate through, which is why I drew it like this week. These are my 3 breakfasts, 1, 2, and 3. I didn't eat this one today. I ate this one today, so I'm just marking here what I actually ate, the number. But anyway, and then here, this is my lunches. So I had leftovers from last week that I boxed up. I had 5 of those, so those will be my lunches this week. Then I'm going to potluck for lunch at church, and then I've got a gluten-free pizza in my freezer that I'll do for lunch on Sunday. And so these are just the meals I had to plan, and that's kind of, and I figured out what soups and salads I was going to do, and then this is a place for brainstorming. I don't have it with me. I bought this pack of Post-it notes that are for grocery shopping, and they have each section like produce and grains and breads and dairy, whatever. And I've just kind of renamed some of those to fit what I'm shopping for and how I like to organize my shopping list. But it's a Post-it and it's exactly the size, so I could just slap it on there and take this to the store. So I love this. This will continue no matter what. It's the rest of this that's questionable. So I'm using this right now to track some GI symptoms, and we won't get into the details because, who wants to know that? But I've got my little codes here. What's frustrating to me, this is working fine, but do I want to carry this extra book around with me everywhere? Probably not. This is my fitness planner. Well, this is going to be more of a meal macro tracking. I do like to have all of those graphs, and the reason I bought this is because this is a Paper Test Designs weekly notebook, and I like that a lot of these are already there for me. It saves me the time of drawing it out, which was the problem of using this for that. But how many of these books do I want to carry around? So this is like the meal, writing it down. Well, I already have that here, and there's not enough room here to do everything I want to do with this, to perhaps use this all year long. So I'm kind of frustrated. If I really want to do this, I like being able to look at it and see it, but do I want to take the time and commit to messing with this every week? I don't know. I did go and redate this because this was a 2025 that I just bought. I think it was probably on sale because it was at the end of the year, and I was like, I wanted to lay my hands on one of these because I love this. The fact that this is already laid out for me. So we'll see. If it gets to be too much, I will abandon it, and I will not feel sad about it. I was thinking today about if there was a way that I can incorporate this into, because I need this as far as the time of day, because I'm tracking when certain symptoms happen, how they relate to meals. So I'm putting the time I ate the meal, if I ate any of my trigger foods in the meal, or potential trigger foods, and then also having the symptoms lining up. So I'm hoping that will help, but with my long-term health. Will I do this all year? No. And as soon as I stop, like this isn't undated, so I just put these stickers in because, until the gut issues get themselves figured out, I will keep using this setup. But if they get done in a month, 2 months, this is so weird. I ordered this. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say that it's weird. This is from the company Take a Note. It's also travel notebook size, and it's a booklet. And this is a vertical. It's big enough to hold all 52 weeks, but we have decided as a company that we're only going to give you 26 weeks, and the rest is going to be blank. I guess for people that want to journal, it is what it is. So I could use this all year and just like make out the vertical stuff in there if I needed to. But let's hope my symptoms don't last that long. But I've got 6 months worth of stuff set up. And I just have my stickers here. These are Amazon stickers. I'm just cutting them across the bottom because I don't need this weekly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday business because it's clear where it's going, and also the sticker wouldn't quite fit if I didn't trim off the bottom. So I trim off the bottom and then it fits there nicely, and I can see what day of the week it is. So I've just got this taped here. This is, I don't know if you have seen this, but you can buy, you know how you can get the tape runners? You can buy one that's like reusable, like it's a Post-it note. Now it's a little stickier than a Post-it note, but you can see it comes on and off with no problem. So I can keep putting my next monthly thing here where it's sticky back and forth, and I don't have to carry them all together or worry about it falling out. So that is my use for these stickers. So this is the one thing, I mean, I like this. Everything's working fine, but it's just a heavy thing to carry around. If I could get it to go into here, I would. But I don't have a way. I love how this meal planner thing is, so I'm going to keep using this. I may not carry with me every day. I need to carry it to the store when I go shopping because my shopping list fits on here really nicely, but I could just throw this in my purse without having this heavy leather cover, which is soft and beautiful and I love, but I could do that. But carrying this symptom book around, I mean, if I can figure out a way to use it, move all that information into here without gunking up my weekly spread, I might do it. I mean, remember, I'm just now thinking of this, I've got basically I could, in theory, use this brain dump section. So, I mean, I don't usually have that many to-do lists. I could leave brain dump at the bottom, scoot this up or scoot it down, put brain dump. Anyway, point being, I could divide this in half and have my 7 days of verticals on this half of the page, or I could mix it in with here, but it's something to ponder just to lighten up my load, because let's face it, I don't want to carry this and this and this and this with me everywhere. That's heavy. If I wanted it to be heavy, I would have just gotten an A5 and divided it up and found a way to make everything fit in there. So an A5 full year. So yeah, we've got to figure out something. Something's got to give. These two, I don't mind carrying these two and this one, but I don't want to have this in my bag all the time. So I'm thinking through how this is going to work. This is part of my figuring it out system. But if I can figure out a way to move at least my symptom one in here, and if I just abandon, I mean, I may not abandon this. I may fill it out, but like backfill it every month, go and fill it out just so I can see what it looks like. But does it need to come with me every day where I'm going? Absolutely not. It doesn't. And so this doesn't have to come. It's this one that needs to come because I'm trying to track symptoms as they happen throughout the day. So anyway, my brain is dancing around these ideas and trying to figure out how to make it work. So if you've got a great idea, drop me a comment. I would love to hear if you've figured out some of these things, or if I've said something that you're like, you crazy person, listen to your own self, do it. Feel free to set me straight. Because, yeah, and like I said, this I can always slim down by just getting rid of this. As much as I love this, I don't have to have this on there. It's got the clear cover, and clear covers work really well for me. So that's where I'm at in this whole planning mess thing. So thanks for sticking around. It's been almost 45 minutes. Bless your hearts. I'm sorry I took so long. I was very long-winded. But hopefully I've answered any questions. If you have anything that you're curious about, this is how we're using this stuff, and moving forward, I'd be happy to answer anything or address something in another video if you have any questions. So hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.